Welcome back to Let's Laugh About It, a not-so-serious business podcast. And today we have Rachel back on, and we are talking about, what are we talking about?
The cost of bad CX.
We're talking about the cost of a bad customer experience. This is a big one to unpack. And it's actually hard to put numbers behind, but I want to go over some examples that we've seen and kind of like the aftermaths of bad customer experience. And in your opinion, I guess let's start with like, let's start on the worst end. What's the worst experience if you had to put it there?
I would say worst experience is like, I'm on the website for somewhere I want to shop. I'm having a hard time finding what I need. The website's not laid out well. They don't have any like FAQs for me to understand the product better. I finally settle and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this. I order it. It's not what I expected. Or even they send me the wrong item. I don't know. It's just like not what was advertised. And then you reach out, no one responds. Nothing to hear back, like nothing to do about it. And so now I have an item that I went through like more effort than I should have to receive, took forever to get here, and I don't want it. And so I think that that's kind of like, it makes you angry, you know, like you don't want to shop with that store again. You lose a customer.
It made me think of like so many experiences that I've had like that there. And have you seen those funny ones where it's like the Temu, like, or I ordered this, or I thought I was ordering this and I got this?
Oh no, I haven't, but I can only imagine.
There was like one where it was like a beautiful like bow to put over your door, and they sent like a flag, like this like thin little flag that was like a picture of the bow. And it was like, I ordered this, but I got this, and it was like this like really thin like shitty flag that was like a picture of what they thought they were getting. Like they literally like printed the what they got it. But it wasn't what
that's an extreme. You know, it's like literally like we'll send you a photo of what you ordered.
Or I saw there was like it was like a playhouse, and it was supposed to be like they thought it was going to be kind of like, you know, I don't know, pretty large, and it was like a miniature one.
Love that.
Yes, that's a really bad experience. I actually think I'm going to go one step further and say you go to a website and you can't check out. I've had that before, and I'm like, damn, did they know? Like, that's like, it like makes my heart like sink because they definitely don't know it, and then you can't find anywhere to like contact them.
Yeah, I've definitely been on a website before, not even for like, you know, like an obscure brand. It's like sometimes a brand where you're like, oh my God, how do they have these like technical issues on their website to where it'll like prevent you from adding your item to the cart.
Yeah.
Or like it'll say it's added and then you go to the cart, nothing there. Like you've looked, you've shopped, you've picked your things, and then your cart is empty. That definitely, like, I don't know if I would spend the time searching for all my items again, knowing that like they probably won't be there, you know? Yeah.
Or the other day, Rachel came to work and she said she got an email. You got an email that had like all broken links, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was your order has shipped. Thanks for shopping with us. And there was like supposed to be a hyperlink to tracking and like a hyperlink to reach out to us here if you need us. You can review us here. All the links were broken. They were blue. They looked clickable, but no.
Or like you go and you reply to something and it's like a no reply email, but it's like a customer support email. Mm-hmm. I always say that that's like walking into a store. Like, and I always compare things to retail, and I come from retail. So I always use that as like the standard of what would you want it to be like if someone walked into your store. Like your online experience should be like that. And if you don't hear back, it's like you walking into a store and you go up to the counter and you say, hello, I need some help. And they like turn around and they don't say anything. That's what it's like.
It's crazy. I bought a few pairs of pants from a pretty popular brand a couple months ago, and I received them. I got them all in the same size. I got multiple colors in the same style for like 2 or 3 of them, and each pair fit differently, and I was so frustrated. I was like, the quality control is insane. And so I bought them online, and so I took them in store to exchange, and they gave me such a runaround about it, and I was shocked because they're like not cheap, and it's like a popular brand, and they told me that I needed to call support and stand outside on the phone for like 30 minutes trying to get a hold of them, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll approve it. And then they approved my exchange, and the lady at the counter had said that like I needed to wait because I had to exchange in person. And then at the end of the call, I was like, all right, so I can go in and exchange now. And he said, no, you actually have to print a label at home, paste it on the bag, and then ship it back at a FedEx. And I was like, oh my God. And they told me that my the new size wouldn't be like guaranteed in stock until like they received my return. It took literally 6 weeks for them to send me the exchange pair of pants. And it was like that, from that, I was like, this was just like really the worst experience I have ever had. And like, I don't want to shop from this brand again.
So that good segue, what, like, in your opinion, what did that experience cost that brand?
I'm looking to like grow into more like professional clothing, and like this, I'm trying to find stores that I want to shop at that have clothes that I like, that fit me well. And so I think on multiple fronts, it was like blow after blow of like, I could be a lifetime customer that they lost. Mm-hmm. And then also I like tell people about it. This is like, I'm so frustrated. And so now like maybe you've lost like my friend's business. Like, you know, it's just, I think that it's not just like, oh, you lost one sale, you know, it's like how many times, if I'm rebuilding a wardrobe, how many sales did you lose? And then like word of mouth is really important too.
And then let's just keep compounding it. We're not going to out this brand, but okay, let's say we had the world's most popular podcast and we said their name. Like we just shared that story, and then the cost of the bad word of mouth on social media too is humongous. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any of these obscure marketing campaigns lately that like are offensive to people? Does anything come to mind?
No, nothing I think of.
I saw one recently, and I'm not going to out the brand, but it was very like it was a baby brand that had over-sexualized over-sexualized content for marketing. And I'm like, oh, I think they might be ruining their brand. Like, I think
Is the intention just to get attention?
I wish I did a little bit more research, because I'm not sure. From what I think so, but it did not sit well with the community, and they didn't apologize. Like, I wonder, like, it'll be interesting to see how that plays off. That's a horrible experience.
Yeah, it's so hard. And we talked about this on the other podcast of like being in CX, you have to get really creative, and no idea is a bad idea. But sometimes the idea shouldn't leave the room. You know, like it doesn't need to, like, I don't know. Views are not always a good thing.
No, the whole like no PR is bad PR kind of thing. And there's a line you can cross for sure. I remember going from retail, and again, I always say like retail experience, like make your online experience like that. I remember going from retail experience and being like, you can kind of like say things out loud, and like it was really a scary thing to go from like just like saying things out loud, and not that I would ever say anything that I wouldn't want to be repeated or anything, but then when you're putting it on paper and people can like screenshot it, and you can't like explain yourself, or like you can think like people can like cut things up or whatever, it's like very documented, is a very scary thing. And like you must be careful, like more careful than speaking, because without like, I mean, if you're being recorded, there's like a record of it, but with bad customer experience, and it can be like screenshotted or like proof of, the internet's always got documented everything. That is like, you don't want to give a bad experience, because it's just like one screenshot and social media post away from like literally ruining your brand.
Yeah, people love a good story, and if you give them one, like it'll spread like wildfire, even if it's something that you don't think is a big deal. Like my experience with that clothing company is like, if I had a following in a platform and I posted about it, like, you know, that's totally something that could go viral, and that could ruin a brand. But to them, it's just like, who cares if I'm going to be like kind to this person or like help this person or whatever, you know? It's like, I think that it's harder as you grow, but it's really important all the employees you have under your umbrella, and that you're all following the same mission and the values and everything, because it all builds up into your brand image.
Yeah. I want to play a little devil's advocate here too, because I think that when when I was like newer into the customer experience, it was more so leaning towards the customer is always right, and learning how to be like protect the brand. And I always use the term like be a profitable rule breaker, and but then also not getting taken advantage of. There is a way to have to be where the customer isn't always right, but still give a good experience. And I don't know if you can think of any examples of this, but there is a way to do it where you don't have to have a bad experience, and you also don't have to just always give the customer what they want.
Yeah, I think that there is definitely a way to, you give them like a virtual hug. And that's something that I like to say, like when talking to our agents and training them on how to like, don't say I'm sorry 500 times in an email.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry doesn't resolve the problem. Like you're saying no either way. Make them feel validated. Like you just like do the best you can, express that you care and you're trying, but like this is what it is. So you can say no and still make someone feel like they were heard.
And we've talked about this before with like the positivity sandwich. Like sometimes you have to like, you validate the feelings, you tell them, you repeat the situation, tell them you understand, but then explain to them that like why you can or can't do something. And you have that positivity sandwich where it's like, yes, no, yes. And like, I love the virtual hug thing. It's very, very, like it just like feels warm. So the cost of breaking it down and to conclude, you lose. Let's say you refund the customer, so you lose the cost of that sale, and then you lose all the future purchases. So like let's say you spent $100 on those jeans, and you're gonna buy, I don't know, a new pair of jeans every year for the rest of your life. You're gonna live a lot, maybe not the rest of your life, but let's say like at least for the next 5 years. So that's like $600. And multiply it by however many people are going to be doing that and how many people you tell. Like it is very, very expensive to have bad customer experience. And what's sad, I think, too, is that brands don't understand that it's expensive until it actually like happens, or until you start to clean it up. And then you realize like it is a very, very hard thing, because it's the opposite of acquisition. You can see all of the numbers adding up. But until you start seeing all of the returns, like brands don't understand and don't see the.
Well, I think it's hard. It would be hard to pin down too. Like you start to see your revenues declining. Why? A lot of people would put that on acquisition and say like, why aren't the ads good enough? Why aren't we doing like this? Why aren't we targeting this new area? And it's not about targeting more. It's about retaining what you already have.
And it costs so much money to acquire one customer. And so it's always surprising to me that brands don't care as much about the retention and the customer experience, because you spend so much money trying to acquire that one customer. Like you have to like cherish that customer. Otherwise you have to like just keep spending to get one new customer.
Yeah, I think that it's tough. Like a lot of people look at a brand or a company as kind of just this like thing to make a profit from. And the idea is just like the next sale, like we want this number in revenue next year. Like these are the financial goals, instead of looking into, because investing in a good CX program can be very expensive, like a lifetime guarantee, different things like that, like forever returns. It's expensive, like it costs the brand money. And so I think a lot of people don't want to open those avenues and spend money in those areas without like realizing how much money it can save you and how much you can gain from that. In my eyes, and a lot of people's eyes, if a brand has a lifetime guarantee, it adds a lot of value to the brand, and it makes you feel like, oh, that's somewhere I want to shop. They really stand behind their product. They care about what they sell. And maybe I'll never use it, like I'll never use my exchange, but
it feels like safe, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of safety there. Or maybe I'm like, I love this brand so much, like they care so much about us, and so I buy all of my pants from there. And so that's so much money that they made off of me just feeling safe with the brand. And so I think that it's just like, while CX is investment, you get a lot out of it.
Yeah. And then you tell your friends. So off camera, we talked about what brand that was, and for me, I remember I was giving hand-me-downs to like my clothes around the office, and I remember even giving you a pair of pants that was like from that when I loved those pants, and I like loved like and I remember telling you, and so like that was like when I had a good experience, and now it's on the other side of like now it's the opposite where like maybe I'm not saying like you shop there because of me, but like you had you heard about positive experiences, and now it's like it's the opposite. They've lost you.
I actually did. I was like, oh, I do love these pants, the pants that you gave me, and I'm trying to find quality clothing. And so I did shop there because I found pants that I liked and from your recommendation. And so it is just like you see word of mouth matters so much.
Yeah. And now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't buy more pants there. So sorry, brand or bleep brand. And then on the opposite side of the what does it cost to have a good experience, it is very, very valuable to have those other and I think it's much harder. We were saying this before about like thinking of positive experiences rather like a negative experience lasts so much longer in people's brains, which is sad. But I think that there's an opportunity where when you have a negative experience with a brand, brands can take that and like if someone has a negative experience but you deal with it in a positive way, that is very long lasting. And for example, I think that this is one that a lot of people have heard of, but like Chewy, for example, you hear that if you have a pet that passes away, but you have food on like a subscription, and I've heard that if you call and like you let them know like I won't need this food any longer, my pet passed away, I've seen them send flowers. They'll cancel the subscription. They'll tell them it's amazing. They'll cancel the subscription. They'll let you keep it if it was already on the way and tell you to donate it to a pet in need, and then send flowers like saying sorry about your pet.
I do love Chewy. I think that they like run a lot of deals, but they don't blow my inbox up letting me know. And it's just like it's so convenient, and they offer like just like their subscriptions are excellent. They give me like clear heads up that it's going to auto renew instead of just being like, oh, like we're gonna get them, it's gonna be like another auto renewal and not let anyone know. And then recently I had an auto ship on the way, but there was like horrible weather all across the US, and so it was delayed, and my cat like ran out of food, and so I reached out to support, and they were so prompt and answered right away. They were so nice, and they were like, I'm so sorry, we want to make sure that like your cat has everything they need, and so they overnighted my order to me, and I didn't have to pay for that, and that wasn't like I was just reaching out like, hey, like, is there an ETA? Because usually when I order from them, it's there the next day. And I get like regular shipping, and they're just so fast and on top of things that I was like, hey, it's been 5 days. Is everything okay? And that's a normal shipping time frame. And for them to just like overnight it to me and pay for that package, that was like, I'm very impressed with their brand.
Yeah, Chewy is a good, maybe you just found your brand to put on the website.
Maybe.
I also, one time I put my wrong address on Chewy and I didn't realize it, but I reached out. I had just moved and I reached out being like, I don't know where this package is. And they resent it to me. But I remember going back and being like, wait, they never made me feel bad about putting the wrong. They didn't even mention it. They were like, no worries. Like they asked like to confirm my address and didn't like, even me in like customer experience, I'm like, I'll like make sure that the customer knows like it wasn't our fault. I'm like, wow, they didn't even make me feel bad about it. My own
Hey,
mistake.
we did you a favor. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget. Well, sometimes you're like, yeah, like just so you know that it was the wrong address, but no worries, we're sending it out. And they were just like, no worries. Like didn't even tell me I made the mistake, which was awesome.
Yeah, I think Chewy is just like, I don't know. I feel like they love my cat as much as I do, and they want to make caring for your pet as easy as possible. And they just have like, it's impressive. Yeah.
So to conclude, we've got bad customer experience. It's very, very expensive. And if you don't realize it, it can be almost too late. Another story that it was so sad. I saw this brand kind of like continuously sabotage themselves, and they were refusing returns for valid reasons where they did like a pre-order and it never came, and it was like some of them were like 8 months, and they wouldn't refund these people they're like, I no longer want this. I got another solution. And so people would start doing chargebacks, and chargebacks are really expensive if a brand loses them, because they not only they have to refund the money that the customer spent. You lose the money from the product, you lose the money that the customer sent. Then you also get right now it can change, but it's a $15 fee for every chargeback that they lose. And it hurts. It's kind of like a credit score. It hurts your credit. And then I saw this company, Shopify wouldn't let them, they had so many of them that they got like banned off of Shopify. And so talk about, it was a horrible experience, but it was like the worst thing. It was like thing after thing after thing. And I don't think that they were ever able to like work their way out of it. They ended up not paying it was like horrible. It was very, very horrible. And in the time we would just try to like explain to them, like, this is like, you really do have to do right by your customer. And they like didn't. And it was like literally the cost of their brand. So it's expensive to be, all in all, it's expensive to have a bad customer experience.
Yeah, and they're not always upfront charges. Often they're not. Like, I think that having a bad customer experience, you might save money upfront, but you can make a lot more money in the long run if you just like care for your customers.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, it's very expensive to have a bad experience, and we will catch you in the next one.